thank you everyone for joining. I guess we'll get started now. We have a small but tremendous group here, so we'll get started on talking about the Hub. So thanks for joining the Lunch and Learn. We have a few items to cover in this presentation, and you can see them outlined on the agenda here. But at the end, we'll also have a Q&A section as well, so you can answer or ask any questions you like. But also feel free to jump in at any time with a question while we're going through this. I would hate for you to forget a question that we didn't get at the end, but we'll have kind of two sections for that, which is great. So we're going to talk about new features. We're going to talk about the Hub account. We're going to talk about access. We'll also be talking about accountability, support, and a few kind of engagement items that are going on right now with the Hub. So raise of hands, how many people have gone to the Hub so far? Excellent, good turnout. And raise of hands for people who have used one of these functions, these new features that's available. Okay, all right. So yeah, we have quite a list of new features available. The old intranet was just a static page with links that went to external sources of information. So now we've really kind of consolidated that into a core location for all of our information, which is great. We also have some new features as well. So we have our People Finder, which is kind of an expanded version of our old telephone directory. Allows for a little bit of better searching capabilities, which is nice. The old searching was a little cumbersome.
Now that you're touching our People Finder, maybe you should actually introduce yourself.
It's a good idea as well. I'm Aaron from IT. I'm the IT project lead who kind of ran this project and brought this property to life. So yeah, if you don't know me, I'm Aaron. We'll see each other in the hall. And I think one of the ways that we can kind of better acquaint ourselves with one another across the center is actually using the account module as well, where you can add a photo of yourself, so we can kind of put a face to a name, which is great. But yeah, just continue on with the features here, and if you have any questions later on, you can always ask me as well.
You don't see these features lined up like this on the Hub.
No, you don't, but I'm actually going to go to the interface in just a second to show you where all this is. So we also have a universal search bar, which is great. This kind of allows you to find any content anywhere. You don't have to go navigating around into different structures of files and folders to find information you're looking for. You can just search in this universal search bar, and I'll show you that in just a second. We also have an idea box, and this is for promoting ideas across the center to help with communication, collaboration, social work items, anything that will help kind of the community collaborate better. We also have a marketplace as well. This consists of 3 different areas. One is a classifieds, which is a buy, sell, free, and trade kind of posting forum, similar to Kijiji. So if you have tickets to the Blue Jays game that you can't go to, or you have something you want to sell, or something you want to give away, it's a nice kind of forum to do that. We also have the lobby sales listed, and we also have lost and found as well. So if people have lost something or found something, you can post it there. We have a staff kudos board. So previously the kudos board was always in the highlights magazine, but we've really opened that up to the center now, so that staff at West Park can actually congratulate and thank each other in addition to just coming down from management as well. So we kind of open that up and allow you to kind of thank your colleagues or congratulate them on a milestone or a job well done. Like I said, everyone has a personal Hub account. We're talking where we can add a picture or a bio or change information. I'll go into that when we go into the interface. We also have an apps page. So instead of this laundry list that we had on the old intranet where it was the apps and services that you would try to find what you're looking for, we now have a little bit of a description of each one of those apps on its own page. And you can actually favorite those, and they'll actually populate to your homepage. So I'll give you an example of that as well. We have follows, which is essentially subscribing to content, and I'll kind of give you an idea of what that concept looks like when we do the tour. But essentially, you can moderate what information you're seeing from which departments when you go on the interface. And for people who commute, we have a real-time traffic app as well, which helps you plan your commute.
Before you go to the next slide,
yeah.
Sorry, I came in late.
No problem.
Go back to People Finder.
Yeah, I'm just going to go into that right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So when you go to the Hub for the first time, if you haven't been yet, you'll see this quick pop-up. So what we've done is we have a tour overlay, which is going to help you out with some of the functions and features if they're not readily visible. It'll kind of show you what's available. So you get this pop-up, and it'll give you some of the information I'm giving you right now. And you can follow the tour. You can skip, or you can follow the tour and skip at any time by selecting this X in the top right corner of each tooltip. But essentially what this tour does is it walks you around the interface and kind of gives you an idea of what each function is for and how it's operating. Kind of give you a better idea of the UI in general. So we were just looking at the main navigation. We're moving down to my follows. So we just talked about the follows here. This kind of acts as your favorites. So essentially you can follow and unfollow spaces, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And when you do that, when you follow a space, it actually comes in this list right here. And the content that space or department uploads will actually come dynamically in your updates feed, which we'll see in a second as well. So this is kind of a favorites area, if you will. So we have a notifications bar as well. Just like social media on LinkedIn, on Facebook, you'll see that this will populate with numbers as you get notifications. So you may get notifications from information from the center, or you may get notifications from someone commenting on a post. If you've congratulated someone on the staff kudos board and someone comments on that, you'll get a notification as well. So it kind of just gives you an idea of who's interacting with the information that you're putting on the hub, in addition to communicate that may be coming from Westpark itself. So right here is where you can access your account. Everyone has a hub account that's tied to their Westpark account. I've uploaded a photo here, so when you go on the hub, you can do that as well. You can also add your bio. You can change your extension number, your pager number, and your fax number. Like I said, we have the universal search bar, so this will be kind of your go-to tool when you're looking for content. The great thing about this search bar is that you don't have to navigate around to the pages that you think might have the information on it. You can actually just use the search bar and it'll pull up some robust results. So I'll just skip ahead here, and I'll let you go through this when you go to the hub yourself. You can kind of take a look at all these features, which is great. But at any point, if you want to see these tours again, you can essentially just select this tab right here, and there'll be some tours available for you to go over. So, one of them is regarding accounts, one of them is regarding favoriting software applications, and managing follows as well. And we're working right now towards implementing a help page, which will kind of expand on all of these items and more later on. So, I just want to talk about a few items here. We have a Westpark calendar. So these buttons on the right hand side will take you to some of this content here. We have a Westpark calendar that has events across the center. So if you have any events that you think should be posted for all staff across the center, contact your department administrator or your manager, and they can help upload that as well. We have emergency codes, which have been updated with kind of more of a graphical interface. I'll just done that. So you can see we have kind of more of a infographic style visual for the codes rather than just text. So you can click on any of these and you should have information for that as well. And I'll just go back here. We have our Westpark link to our public website. So we have going between the internal network to the public network. There's a little bit of redirect issue. A lot of people use this link, so we have that still there for everyone to use. We also have Press Cafe for everyone's hot weekly meals that we all like to know what's going on every day for lunch. We actually have a space for PharmaSave now as well. And then we have our apps here, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Here's our local traffic button. So this will actually render a real-time traffic map. So you can kind of go here and check out, all the little areas that, may have information about a traffic jam or, any type of interruption on your way home, which is great. And then we have some weather, social media, and then this button down here, which is very important, is the intranet feedback form. So we'll talk about this in just a second. This is essentially where you want to go if you have any support. You can use this form down here at the bottom. So in your account, we'll just go there right now. So in your account, I'll have all your information. I'll have your photo posted there, and it'll show your name, it'll show your department and your phone number. And the information that you can change as a user is essentially your photo, your office phone, an extension, your fax, and your pager number. We're working with a centralized system to try to keep all of our records accurate across our systems. So right now, that's the information that you can post. You can also post a little bio as well, and you can do all that through this edit button right here. From this area, you can also manage your calendar, your notifications, your follows as well, your subscriptions, weather, and there's a workbench as well when we talk about workflow, but that's coming a little bit later on, so I wouldn't worry about that tab too much for right now. So when we talk about follows, essentially every space, so this is the foundation department, every space has a follow or unfollow button. So when you follow a space because you're interested in their content, essentially what happens is the information that space uploads to the intranet, it will dynamically appear in your updates feed. So anything that they post will come up here. Now you may find if you follow too many spaces or a lot of spaces and you find that there's just too much content coming on, you can go and remove those follows at a later time, but it's a dynamic tool that will allow you to essentially moderate what kind of content you're seeing. Everyone across the center has a forced follow for news, announcements, West Park Healthcare Center, and news announcements, foundation, and campus development as well. So aside from those, you can choose what you want. Those will always kind of pop up just so you know what's going on a regular basis at campus development. But aside from that, you can essentially choose which content you want to see. And I think the last thing I'll just show you real quick is the apps page. So this is where we have those services and applications that essentially we want to have available on our homepage. We kind of just have one big page for all of the apps, but the way you can make them render on your homepage is essentially by selecting one of these little stars. And what that does is it favorites this app for your account. And once you've favorited all the applications that you want to see, it'll make them automatically available on your homepage based on your selection criteria. So this way you don't have to go through, This way you don't have to go through several different apps every time you want to use something or go to this page, because this page will start to grow over time. Let me just go back here. Oh, receiving an error here. Let's see if it updated. There we go. So you can see the ones that I've favorited are on my homepage now, and essentially that, once I've selected the ones I use on a regular basis, and I can always add or remove to this at any time that I want. Once this is added to my homepage, I don't have to go back to that apps page anymore. I can just launch it directly from my homepage, which is great. So, we have a few new tools up here. Like I said, we have the People Finder, and I know we wanted to go there. So we have a few different filters of criteria that we can search from. We have first name, last name, title, department. So I'll just type one in real quick here. Once we've entered our criteria, we can go and see the list. It gives us first name, last name. It gives us all the information that we were, that we can search by. We also have an email address that's just a quick link from here, so we don't have to go find an email or press the to button in our address book. You can just launch it directly from here. If you want to see more information about the user, you can just click on their name, and it will forward to their name and have the fax number, pager number, maybe some additional information that wasn't available on the initial list page there. And so, was there a question about the People Finder?
Well, when I put in the first name, but I'm thinking now it's an unusual name, so maybe I spelled it incorrectly, and I didn't know the person's last name.
So you can also search by department, and you can search by title, and you can actually search by phone extension too. So you probably don't know the phone extension if you're looking for a phone extension, obviously. But there's a couple of different ways. So if you maybe don't know some of the information and you know some other information, there's a couple of different fields there that you can search by. I believe it should have, this does need to be spelled correctly. But one way to quickly search as well is you don't always have to go to the People Finder. You can also use, if you spell it correctly, you can also use the Universal Search Bar. And you can see that the Universal Search Bar will give me a variety of content from the site. So it'll give me documents based on this criteria, it'll give me news, it'll give me spaces. And you can see I have users down here at the bottom. So if I want to see users as well, I can just select this users tab, and it'll take me to all the users with John in there. And I can search here as well. Yeah.
So maybe I'll do it by department.
Yeah, you can do it by department. It could be a spelling issue, but if you have department, title, or any other criteria, you can search through that way. For policies and procedures, we have them listed now by category. So you can see they're all readily available by their category structure. But we also have the search bar here as well. But once again, you don't have to navigate here to find your policies. You can always go up to this universal search bar. I've typed in policy, so there's going to be a lot of results there, but when you narrow your search, you'll be able to find the policy right from here. You can just select that link and it'll go right to that policy. So employee self-service, this is Empath, which we all know and use. This is e-learning from the old internet. We have our idea box, so we'll just take a look at that real quick. So essentially on the idea box, this is where you can post ideas, and you'll just use this add new button to post a new idea. So if you have an idea about communication, collaboration, you have an idea about something to do with workflow, or maybe it's a non-work item, more of a social thing, you can put that on here as well. It should be related to kind of improving, communication collaboration within, the Westpark team. So maybe not, a personal party of a cousin you have, but, something that, maybe social in terms of a team building event or something like that. And then once these events are in here, you can kind of go in and add comments as well. So you can go in and add a comment here, maybe adding to the communication of the idea, maybe another sub idea on top of this category that you think is good, or you can give it a thumbs up and you can give likes. And essentially when you like an idea, it adds to the count, and ideas that are, go back here. There we go. Let me just go back up here. So ideas that are the most liked will actually rise to the top. And this way management can go in and try to implement some of these ideas when they can, based on popularity. We talked about the marketplace. We'll give you a quick peek here. So we have classifieds, lost and found, and lobby sale. You can see we already have an excellent, I'm doing a little promotion for Charlene here. We have an excellent post already for some cars that Charlene's selling. It's his and her Camaros. But it's nice. You can put it on this here, have, sell by, trade or free, barter, whatever you want to put on here. Put your information. You can put a little photo gallery of your information as well, which is great. And it's kind of a nice way to kind of communicate. Just go back here. Gonna get out of this full screen so I can press the back button. So also lost and found as well. Same thing, just anything that's found or lost, can be posted to this area as well, which is great. So these are all pretty straightforward. Tools and resources. We have the apps page like we were talking about, some facility information, which we'll be expanding on, any staff services. We have also kind of a redundant access point for Marketplace. We have the staff kudos board here. So this is under tools and resources. If you want to give a congratulations or a thank you, you want to visit under here. Other information is just self-explanatory. So we have support documentation that was available on the old internet, emergency codes, our ethics information, environmental sustainability, and organizational structure. So it's kind of a little shift in the organizational structure, which you can check out there.
Support documentation.
Support documentation is the information that was available on links from the old internet. So there's accessibility, there's EPR support documentation, functional programming, medical guidelines, so on and so forth. Beyond that, we have the departments here. So we've kind of split out into two categories. So the services and clinics are in their own top level section, and the other departments are in another section. And then, these little arrows just mean that there's like a sub navigation there, so you can go in and explore that information on your own time. So that's kind of a tour of the interface. I don't know if there's any questions before I move on back to the presentation. No? Good? Alrighty. So once again, we kind of went through all of these items here. In terms of the Hub account, just to reiterate, you can add a profile photo, you can add a bio, you can update some of your contact information, you can manage your calendar, read notifications, and add or remove follows or subscriptions. So access to the Hub, if you've never been there before, when you're here at Westpark on the internal network, you can essentially select your Internet Explorer icon and it will automatically take you to the Hub. The Hub maintains SSO capabilities, which means single sign-on, which means when you're on your workstation here in the internal Westpark network, it will log you on automatically. You don't have to log on at that point. It'll just take your credentials from your workstation and log you directly onto the Hub, which is great. If anyone's using kind of a shared workstation, you'll have to log on with your account, but it's just the same credentials as your regular account, so there's no new credentials to have to learn. If you have to log out at any point or log back in, once again, just the same credentials that you had before on your Westpark account, just use those to get in. We also have external access as well. So essentially we have a link up at the top right on the public website. It says Staff Hub. So if you are not on the secure network here or you're at home, you can just go to the public website, select that link, and you can log in with your credentials. Just want to remind you that no one from the public has access to the information that's on the hub. This is an internal property that nobody has access to except for West Park employees, and you would need a verified West Park account to log in, and essentially that's what you do when you access from these external networks. The property is also mobile friendly, so essentially it will respond dynamically based on the resolution size of your device, which may be a phone or a tablet. So feel free to use this on your mobile devices as well. So I just want to talk briefly about accountability. So everything that's posted on the hub, your comments, your posts, are tied to your hub account. So essentially when you post something, your name, your picture will be there. And I just wanted to remind people to be mindful of what they're posting, because this information will be up there unless it's specifically removed by an admin. I think that this will keep everyone accountable and everyone will play nice, but if there is any issues where there's inappropriate activity, those accounts would be blocked until we resolve the issue. And if you do see any inappropriate activity, please report that through the intranet feedback form. So we talked about finding content through the universal search bar. There was a couple of questions about where things were located in the new intranet. It's quite a change from the structure of information from the old intranet to the new one. So essentially, use the universal search bar for anything you're looking for. It should pull up everything. In the chance that it doesn't pull up everything, you can search for a intranet content map, and that's this item right down here. So we have a table where it kind of has the old title from all the information on the old intranet and a link to where it's located on the new intranet. So once again, the universal search bar should pull up everything you're looking for. If there's any circumstance where you don't find something or it's not clear, you can always look at this content map as well. For support, we want you to use the intranet feedback form. It's located on the bottom right of the home page. Essentially, this form will send your support question or request to the appropriate bodies. So depending on what the support request is, it'll be sent to information technology or public relations. So if it's a technical support request or question, it'll be sent to IT, obviously. And if it's content branding, anything around the kind of content, it'll be sent to PR. So please use that feedback form, because we are instructing calls that come into the departments regarding this to actually use that form, just so we can have everything through the same system and have it through a consistent ticketing system. They'll be responded to in terms of date and severity, so that's kind of the priority measurement for responding to these tickets. So once again, the feedback form is down at the bottom there. You can see it's just a big purple button, but it's pretty quick to fill that out. So one of the items that we have coming up that will be available on the intranet is the employee open forum. So we'll be able to list an FAQ where we can list all the questions that are submitted and along with all of their answers, and essentially enable a more frequent cycle of Q&A. So we won't have to wait for these scheduled sessions. We can kind of have that information posted, and then if you have questions in the meantime, you can submit them anonymously, or you can submit them directly as well. And if you go to the employee open forum page, which should be up probably this week, you'll be able to submit your questions that way. We still have the scavenger hunt, which is ongoing. So the deadline is November 30th, but this is a great way to get used to the hub and the kind of navigation and information architecture, and also enables you to have a chance to win a prize as well. So if you go onto the hub and you see the second slide there, it'll say welcome to the hub. If you just read the details, I'll have the list there, and you can just kind of go through and fill out the answers, and then you can submit based on that information and be entered to win a chance for a prize. So moving forward, this isn't a final state solution. This is going to be an ever-growing tool that we're going to be continuously adding to and improving. We're looking to get a lot of feedback from staff across the center of their input and how we can improve, and really take that and refine and revise the property to make sure that it's serving our needs best. And the potential for the future, it's built on a very flexible platform, so it will, enable greater ease of integration with future initiatives and further development to help streamline communication and collaboration, which is great. So that's pretty much it. I'm always available as well by email and phone for any questions you might have, but I thought I'd open up now. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Yep.
The open forum, will it only be on the hub, or will it also happen in actually in
So the question was, the open forum, will it only be available on the hub, or will it happen in sessions as well?
We're just repeating that because we're videotaping this for others. So the idea is that we'll still have the open forum as an informal session, ability to meet with Anne Marie and other senior leaders to submit those questions. But rather than, the reality is that we're doing 3 a year, I think, right now. So once every 4 months. So rather than, having to wait, if you actually have a question or a concern or something raised, this is something which could then be, could come to everyone's attention much earlier. We want to keep that ability to keep it confidential still, so that people can submit questions without worrying about ramifications from that. But we do want to also have that opportunity to have it as an informal basis on a meeting, but also added so you can get one done quickly. And so what we'll be doing is, we just had one recently, so some people weren't able to attend. And again, so we want to be able to share that information with all staff. So that's one of the reasons why we're also creating the open forum content section. So.
Any other questions? All right, everything's crystal clear. No issues, no questions. That's great. Okay, great. Well, like I said, go to the hub, enjoy, navigate around, play with the tools, get used to it. And if there's any, questions or anything, you can call me directly or email me directly. But if you have feedback in general to improve the intranet, I would do that through the intranet feedback form. In addition, if you have any support requests or questions as well.
And just wondering, have people started using it yet? Is there anything that that you maybe want to share and let us know, kind of what you think is working or what isn't working, and any specific new features that you really like? Yep.
I'm just wondering, so the empath, previously we accessed separately, it's in EPR, will those, will all of that disappear and everything will be accessed now through the hub? Or will you still have the option of doing it either way?
So EPR will be a desktop application that you still access from your desktop, but you can access most of the apps from the hub. So I would, unless there's something that specifically needs to be launched from your application, it should be on the hub and available for you.
Do you want to call up the hub just again? So do you know how to access the, it's actually right there at the top. It says employee self-service. So if you access the hub through Internet Explorer, you can actually go through and it'll automatically take you to the empath.
Then I can also just access it through the icon on my desktop. It doesn't matter, we're still going to have the option of doing it both ways.
Yes, you will. Yes, yeah.
So
Yes.
is that the find people that is, function will replace the employee list?
Right, so right now we have a telephone directory under the old system, but it didn't, the search function wasn't very good, and it didn't allow people to modify it themselves, to add a photo or add a little bit of a bio or that kind of thing. So this is a much more robust function. You can go in and search very quickly from just using someone's name or even their department, and it'll basically list all the people with that name or with that department. And so you'll probably find that this is much easier, faster, and responsive than the old way of trying to track down someone. You could potentially, I know that they're on this unit, but I'm not sure of their name. If they've uploaded a photo, then, if you go to the department listing, you might be able to actually find it, say, oh, that's the person I'm trying to talk to, I forgot what her name was, and then you can actually see what her name is. So that it's a lot of different ways at which you can kind of access that information and to try and find people quickly and how to contact them and so forth.
So we can add our photo?
Yes, yes. So you can see that Aaron's done it himself. You see that up at the top there. So click on that account again. So he's gone in through the edit button, and this allows him to upload a photo and to add any kind of little personal information or those kinds of things as well too.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned to call you or email you. Where is that information? Is that you?
That's right. So,
Your email?
yeah, so my name's Aaron Metler, and you can search on the People Finder.
Why don't you actually just do a quick search
Yep.
for yourself? So he's using the main search button rather than the People Finder button. This, so you can see it's listing kind of where his name pops up in others. And if you go, try it under the People Finder and just do your first name. So there he is again listed.
I have a temp account there from the development that I got to take out, but you can see that I'm listed there. So you can find my information here and send me an email.
You can actually go in under People Finder and throw in, use my name, Vince. So you see there's a bunch of different ones. That's mine. If you click on mine, I used to have a photo. It's, for some reason, it's disappeared, but I'll be going to put that up. But you can see if you scroll down, I put in a little bit of a bio about myself. You can see who my manager is, and you can quickly see what extension to reach me at as well, too.
Okay, great.
And there's also the internet feedback form on the homepage as well. So if you have any support issues, whether they're technical or content-based, you can go down to this this feedback form and simply just fill out this form, and this will be sent to the appropriate bodies.
Great.
Thanks.
I like it, thank you.
Thank you.
Where's your IT tickets now that I submit for, so I want something to change or a new manager or?
So if you go to information technology, and you can go to create a ticket. Sorry? Oh, yep. And I think this is some of the feedback as well. If you think that, it should be placed anywhere else, feel free to, give some feedback as well, and we can talk about how we can change the structure. And I think that's what we want to do, is like slowly refine the structure, based on the needs of the users as well.
That's the hard thing, is especially because there was such limited information available on the old intranet. This has so much more information, and so we're trying to find it and make sure that we've got it in places that people will be able to use it, or where we think people would naturally look. But the great thing too also is that search, the universal search area, is that you could go in there and probably type in IT ticket or something like that. We'll give this a test. Let's see what shows up.
Yeah, I don't know if the buttons come up themselves, but you can see the internet feedback form comes up. And we are developing an IT ticket form exactly the same as this, so it will be available as we could. Yeah.
Just a suggestion, if you really want people to use the hub, you could eliminate the other ways of accessing the same information. Because otherwise, people will stick with what they're used to.
It's a really good point, and I think, we want to talk about that transition instead of just, cutting everyone off, because there could be some people who are upset with that, and just kind of work on the transition that, facilitates that. But yeah, no, it's a very good point.
So we're looking at the idea also of having it when you log in, that it automatically comes up, as opposed to having to wait, as opposed to having to click on Internet Explorer in order to access it. So, but we want to give it a bit of, kind of make sure we work out all the bugs first before we move in that direction. Great. Thanks everyone for coming. I really appreciate it.
So, sorry, if you want our information, you have to go to the Finder and give our information. Where should go?
You can actually just go up to your account right here, go to My Account, and then just select this Edit button. And you can go and you can add a photo, the About Me section, your number, fax, and pager. The rest of the information you won't be able to change, but that information you can update.
So everybody that already has an account, but you can go and edit the information. So the logins for the account is already being.
That's right. Your account will be up there. It won't have a photo. You have to upload a photo, and that's where you can kind of start building your account there. So yeah.
Great.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.